is the duality that exists, particularly for women when we're ambitious, driven, and we're building a business. And that duality is that it's both very ugly, but also beautiful at the same time. It's one of those things where two things can be true at once, both beautiful and ugly at the same time. So there's a few points that I want to go through with you. And please, if you watch this on replay and you're not here live with me, to comment in the chat, and you relate to any of the points, please come back into the Facebook group under where I post this video in the guides and let me know where you related and if you had any questions. This is what the group is for, okay? Just to let you know, one of the coaches that I work with is in Canada, and her live calls are often not when I'm able to go on them. I consume almost all of her content via replay. So don't feel like you aren't participating properly if you're only catching the replay. You are not. That's what the replay's for. But do comment about anything you want to comment about regarding the replay so that I do know that you're engaging. Okay, because then I'm able to support. Ask your questions there. All right, the duality, business building for women, both beautiful and ugly at the same time. The first reason for that is that we are actually sold a lie in the beginning. So no one tells us that scaling a business doesn't remove the demand from us. Okay, so growing our business, getting team members, etc., it doesn't remove the demands from us, it multiplies them. So have a think about that for a moment. It means that we have more responsibility. So obviously, if we choose to have a business with team and those team member numbers grow over time, we now have more responsibility for more people. We have more people relying on us for our vision and our leadership and making sure that the money's in the bank to pay everyone. We make more decisions personally. This is something I am deep in at the moment, is where my level of decision making sits and why at certain times I'm asked to come down from my visionary level of decision making to make $25 and $50 an hour decisions when I have team members who are empowered to make decisions at that level. And there's also more emotional labor. The point here is, if you are thinking that you'll just wait for the season where it all feels light and clean and spacious, we're going to miss the life that's happening around us. Growing a business is hard. That's why there are some people who are self-employed, but many more others who are employees. If everyone could grow a business and succeed, we wouldn't have employees to work for us. But it's not the case. I'm sure you have been aware at one point or another what the statistics are for small business, medium business that grow on to be corporations. The statistics are for those surviving. So here in Australia, 50% of all businesses won't even last 12 months. Another 50% of them won't be around in 3 years' time. And by 10 years, less than 5% of the businesses that made it through year one will still be in existence. It would be a similar number, whether you're in North America, Europe, UK, wherever you're watching this from. So that means if you are at the 10-year mark or beyond, the first thing I want to say to you is congratulations, girlfriend. Well done. You are in the less than 5% of all people who start a business. that is to be absolutely commended. I have goosebumps right now. I fall into that category with my coaching business, The Workshop Whisperer. So it will be 12 years old this year. I support a team at the moment of anywhere between 12 and 15 people, depending on what we're working on and how many full-time team members we have, how many contractors we have. And it is a massive responsibility. And some days, the weight of all of that responsibility, the decision making, the people relying on me, it is really heavy. And as I joked with my husband only yesterday, heavy is the head that wears the crown, particularly when you're experiencing a rapid pace of change, like many of us are right now, where we're attempting to embrace AI to help us be more efficient. And in my companies, it's not, we don't embrace AI so we can replace people. We embrace AI in order to make our people more efficient and us to be able to provide better outcomes for our clients. But sometimes it's really difficult if you're working with team members who are still in more traditional roles and they've not been asked to stretch like this before. So the truth here is this season that we find ourselves in, with more responsibility, more people relying on us, more decision making, more emotional labor, this season is the work. Don't wait for it to be lighter. We've got to enjoy moments while we're in this season. Let me know what you think about that in the chat. I'll move on to my next point. What we're also largely aware of, but it doesn't pop up in our conscience every day, is that no one puts the ugliness on Instagram. So occasionally you'll see somebody post something that's polarizing, a scroll stopper about the constant pull between ambition and guilt. But it's rare. Most people, and at times including myself, are showing their highlight reel. So people can be loving what you're doing, but resenting it in the same hour. So I just came back from a 2-week vacation. My husband and I went to Bora Bora and we went to Queenstown in New Zealand. And what would appear on the surface as an absolutely bucket list item in Bora Bora, which it was, the photos of the beautiful tropical water, the overwater bungalow, the amazing scenery, that's a highlight reel. There were lowlights going on at the same time when we had a quad bike accident. Now, we did post about both. That's important to say. But especially when we're looking for others to follow us or follow us in order to convert a client or a customer later on, we might be tempted not to show all of it. And that's where the ugliness kind of gets hidden away. We can feel needed by everyone, but feel invisible ourselves. And the other thing that kind of drives us to social media is even if we're introverts and wanting solitude, we can be craving connection at the same time. And that's a type of ugliness that just doesn't kind of really get spoken about, but it can be the season that you're in as well. So it's important to remember that this isn't failure, that you have ugly moments and it seems like on Instagram, others are just having highlight reel after highlight reel after highlight reel. But your capacity is showing you that you're being stretched, especially if you feel like there's more ugliness than beauty. Ugliness doesn't mean something is wrong. it usually means something is growing. And I know right now in my own business, with all of the innovation that we're currently implementing with AI, it's ugly and it feels heavy. But guess what? We're growing as well. So we've transitioned from being a sailing ship in safe harbor for the last 18 months or so while we steadied from our previous growth period. And we've transitioned that sailing ship into a rocket ship that's off to the moon. And it's a bumpy ride, but it's part of the process. Nothing is wrong. So the beauty and the ugliness coexist. We've just got to be aware of it so it doesn't pass us by. There's a thing about chaos here. And beauty isn't the absence of chaos. And it goes back to what I was saying in my first point. If you're waiting for everything to feel clean and calm and light and spacious, you'll actually miss the beauty in the micro moments that are happening right now. So, beauty doesn't exist in the absence of chaos. It doesn't arrive after the mess has been cleaned up. It does exist inside it if you know where to see it. That's really what I want us to understand today. It doesn't matter how deep and in the sludge you feel, I guarantee you there is something beautiful to find in there. It's probably looking at you in the face right now. It's why it's so important to ensure that your environment around you is actually set up to help you see the beauty. For instance, I've described the bumpy ride and the heaviness of what is going on inside my organization right now. But to ensure that I just don't sit in that all the time, here's the couple of things that I do. And this might work for you in your workspace if you are desk based. If you are in business where you kind of move around your bricks and mortar business all day, or you move between working areas, just think about how you could incorporate some of this for the time when you are sitting at a desk, or there are parts of your workplace that you spend the most time in. So in order to not sit in the heaviness, I make sure that my desk is in front of a big bright window and the blind's not down. Don't sit in the darkness. I've got a candle burning over here to my right. I've got water and what is now an empty cup of coffee over here to the left. I make sure that every coffee or tea that I consume is in a beautiful cup. You know why? Because it feels like more of a treat. It actually starts this beauty feeling. Outside the window, I have placed tropical plants so that when I have a moment and they catch my eye, I'm reminded of beauty. There are things that we can set up with us for ourselves that trigger the, gee, this is heavy, but I just need to shake it off. Look around, smell the candle, sip the drink out of the nice vessel, and just remember to look outside the window every now and again. Beauty doesn't arrive after the mess, it exists inside it. You can set it up. That's one way. It's the 3 minutes of quiet before the house wakes up. I actually have a little process called the woman before the day begins that some of you already have because we've chatted about how necessary this is, especially when you're a mum with kids. And as soon as those kids are awake, the day is just on autopilot. A voice note that you leave yourself instead of pushing harder that you can listen to. Just a little thing. Hey, you've got this. I'm so proud of you. You're doing well. This too shall pass. Keep going. Or rest. You might need to give yourself the reminder. And it is the moment where there's beauty in the moment where you choose rest instead of proving to yourself that something can be done or that you aren't quitting or whatever. Resting isn't quitting. Walking away completely, shutting down, becoming an employee again when you know that's what you're not meant to be, that might be quitting. But having rest to recalibrate, reset, take a moment, get some clarity, check in with your coach, check in with your partner if you have one, just chill. That's to be celebrated. There's beauty in that. As women, we often keep waiting for a clean slate in order to enjoy our lives, but there isn't one. There's no clean slate. We can make the most of this now if we know where we're looking, if we've done some work to set up little micro moments for ourselves, and if we understand that waiting for the chaos to be over means we're always going to be waiting. Duality, so that beauty and ugliness are there at the same time, it's the price of power. Just bear with me for a moment. I just want you to hear these next couple of things that I want to say, and you can let me know your thoughts in the chat. At the same time, you can love your children, but also need space from them. You can feel proud of your business, but also be exhausted by it. You can be deeply grateful for all that you have and all that has happened so far and be deeply over it at the same time. Both can exist at the same time. You're not broken if you feel those things at the same time. You don't need to be fixed. Nothing's broken. Both can exist at the same time. And it's trying to resolve the duality around those things, particularly if you're also a mum, loving your children but needing space from them. That burns women out, trying to reconcile those two things. Letting it exist at the same time is actually what frees you. I speak in one-to-one calls with my one-to-one clients so often about the mummy guilt thing. I love them, but I need my own time or my cup is empty when I'm pouring into them. Yep, of course. You can love them but need space from them. And if you want to be your best self and operate at your highest level, you must have space from them to do the things that tick the boxes from you, for you rather, so that when you're back with them, you're present for them, making meaningful memories with them, and not feeling guilty that you're not at work. Because that's usually where we do mental lapse. When we're with the kids, we're thinking about what we didn't get done at work or what we want to do at work. And then when we're at work, we're thinking about the things that we should be doing with the kids. So you don't remove one or the other. You let them exist at the same time and know that both are okay. Are we getting that one? Give me a thumbs up in the chat. Lovely. Awesome. There's a beauty and an ugliness to understanding my next point here in this alignment session. And it's around why it looks to us like women break when men often don't. And we can harbor a lot of resentment in this part, which brings on a certain degree of ugliness about us building businesses. Men traditionally in society have been praised for their focus, their discipline, their commitment, particularly if they're business owners as well or in corporate positions. They get praised for being on track, being on focus. Women, however, get praised for their endurance, being able to handle all the things. So we've been taught to hold our business, our household, our emotions, our relationships, and future planning. All of that we've been taught to hold since the feminist revolutions began last century, and we were told that we could now have it all. So we hold that all at once. And the problem isn't that we can't cope with that. The problem is that we've normalized the impossible because you can't actually hold it all. You can't. Not possible. But we've normalized trying. So I wonder if we saw the beauty rather than the ugliness as we grow our business, we look after our household, we nurture our relationships, we attempt to self-soothe with our emotions, and we work towards this future that we can see. We're visionaries, most of us. So that's what took us off into business in the first place. We could see something better for us, and then by extension, it becomes for our family. We could offer a better service for our future customers and clients. That's why we're all here. But there's a beauty to be found in that can coexist with the ugliness, how heavy it all feels to do that. And sometimes we flick over into resentment for how unjust it is that we feel men are continuing to be praised for their focus while we're supposed to endure. Many of you will at one time or another experienced that even though yourself and your partner both work a full-time job, your partner might leave the house at whatever time they do, and you need to do the same thing, but you also need to prepare the kids, get them off to school. You actually work inside a time block that's around school hours, and then you do the after school stuff and the laundry and clean the bathroom and sports practice and whatever else. And that dynamic may exist in your household right now. It may never have existed because you're with somebody who just knew that that wasn't okay for you right from the beginning. And if that's the case, oh my God, that's beautiful and amazing. And I'm so pleased that that's your experience. Wasn't my experience. It's why I am divorced, but thankfully remarried to somebody who does understand that women don't have to endure all of that. And it is setting up the systems that help me seamlessly go from business to household to relationship and all in between that have us here right now in the first place. So remember, the problem isn't that we can't cope, it's that we've normalized the impossible. So if it's our willingness to continue to try to do all of that, it's even more important that we put systems in place to support us trying to do that, okay? Which is what Sort Your Shit Out was for in the first place. The final thing that I want to talk about on this duality of business building being ugly but beautiful at the same time is that enjoyment while we're building is a micro decision. It's not a lifestyle. So let me just kind of dig into that a little bit deeper. So enjoyment while we're doing this isn't just a weekend away or 2 weeks vacation and then you come back. It's not a holiday. Enjoyment's not a holiday. It's not when things calm down, because all of those things dictate that you must wait to have that experience before you can experience enjoyment. Enjoyment is choosing on purpose to notice one beautiful thing in a hard day. It's choosing a moment where you decide to soften instead of push. It's noticing a decision made from love and not fear. Because there's only ever two states for a human being, love or fear. And so many of us make movements, judgments, decisions from fear because of all the baggage we carry on in our life, with us throughout our life. Love, which is a human being's natural state, the one that we are born with, because everything else is programming. Love is our natural state. So when I realized that I might be going so fast that I haven't actually slowed down to take in the enjoyment, I do have a trigger that I've set up for myself, which is, what would love do right now? Love would close the laptop. Love would go and have a hug with my husband. Love would go outside into the sunshine and feel the sun's warmth. I've already done it this morning by walking out into my front garden and just walking on the grass barefoot, just to feel the grass. Look at my lemon tree, smell the rose that's in full bloom out there. That's enjoyment. That's beauty while the ugliness is going on. When we notice the micro moments and they're enjoyable throughout every day, they start to compound. And your brain starts to flick over to, how do I enjoy more of these things in my day? What can I set up around me that I'll notice that means things are more pleasant than they are heavy, ugly, or at least you can notice the pleasant while the ugliness is going on. It's how, as women in business, we get to stay in the game and feel so much more fulfillment as we do it. So this space here in our Keep It Sorted membership, it's not here to make life perfect, because if we're waiting for things to be perfect, as I've explained throughout our alignment session here today, we're actually putting life on hold because it's not coming. Perfection's not coming. The space is here inside Keep It Sorted so that you don't have to white knuckle your success alone. That's number one. But while you're here, I really want you to, even on the yuckiest, stickiest, ugliest days, know that there's beauty to be found. And if you can't find it, come into the group and let us know. Having trouble seeing the beauty today? This is going on. Would love your thoughts. It's all you got to do. It's all you have to do. And we'll support each other through it. So these monthly alignment sessions aren't necessarily about productivity. It's about docking in with the mothership, recalibration, just mindset, slight 1% shifts. Realizing that we've been conditioned to have unrealistic expectations, and then remembering who you are inside of all the noise. So pull back from being business owner, wife, or partner, mother, sister, daughter, friend. Pull back from all of that and remember who you are. and why you deserve this recalibration and why you deserve to experience beauty even though the ugliness is going on. Because the ugliness isn't going to go away. Even when you get through this next period of growth, or even if you're in steady the ship mode, that always clicks over and you move into another phase. And then you have the next higher level quality decisions to make. So you don't need to become stronger. What you need to become is more honest with yourself. Am I sitting too much in the ugliness? What opportunities have I given myself to see and feel the beauty? Bathe in the beauty, because the beauty is love. It is pure love. The ugliness can be filled with fear. Both are going to happen at the same time. It is a choice to experience both the beauty and the ugliness, though, and how long you spend in each.